Hello viewers around the world and welcome back to a brand new video. This is XP Gaming and today we're going to be talking about two new topics for Fortnite. Well, the first one isn't really new, but it is the main point of the video, and this is a topic that I've been wanting to talk about or make a video about on my channel for a while, but I was waiting for everything about it to come out. So I'm going to be already saying, you probably have guessed already from the title, it is all 6 comics, or just this in general, the Batman Zeropoint comics from, well, yeah, Fortnite. So I'm gonna, some people might not even know what that means or what that is, since even though it was pretty exciting when people first heard about it, it ultimately calmed down, and when the actual comics released, it wasn't as exciting as people thought, but it was still like true to what they said it was gonna be, and they'll be saying everything in a little while, in a little while. So you might have heard in the first part of the video, like I said, that we're going to be discussing two topics in this video, and that is exactly what we're actually going to do. The second topic was actually not too, like, I guess you could say big to discuss on its own, so we'll be discussing it in this video right here. So I'm sure you probably heard some shooting noises and some, well, basically I think we all know about the boss leak in Choppy. If you don't, it was a boss added at height of 16, and I think he just died. He was boss added in the last update, which is literally just a week ago, at height of 16, and he was a pretty interesting boss. He was really a type of new boss. He was like an actual boss, like a mini boss that Fortnite added, and he dropped mythic loot, so he wasn't just a kind of weird boss like Ruckus. No, he dropped mythic loot, a mythic ray gun, and he was also but he didn't spawn at a location, okay, I don't know what I'm saying. Neither did he attack you on site. You actually need to attack his babies or whatever, these things basically, before you can actually attack him. Or you could, attack him and he would get angry. And that, proved very useful, because then you could get the upper edge on him. And he's right there. I'm pretty sure you guys saw a guy finding him, but it looks like that guy died. So as you can see, I'm gonna walk up right next to him. And yeah, he does not actually attack you. Pretty interesting. Pretty interesting way of adding a boss. So he's a really weird boss, but it was even weirder, at least for me. I didn't see anyone else think it's weird. For some reason, it was really weird for me. The Zig and Choppy boss in the files was set to move over the week. So basically that means that every week he would move to a new location. He would, and from the files it looked like this. He would go from height of 16 to Weepings to Bonies, and then he would go all the way around the map until here, when he landed at retail. I wasn't sure if this was going to come true. It was really possible, since it was literally in the files, and now it looks like it did come true, and now he's moving around the map. So I'm not sure why this is happening, but in case you guys are wondering, yes, he's right here, he spawns here at this location. I didn't think this would be enough to make a video for some, but here it is. Now we're going to be talking about the main topic of today's video, and that was a weird glitch. I'm not sure if you guys saw that, but for some reason it was all okay. Well, anyways, we'll talk about it later. But anyways, we're gonna be talking about the main topic of this video, which is the Batman Zeropoint comics. It's pretty interesting. I was pretty excited for this, because if you haven't seen, well, any of my other videos, so if you have, well, basically, if you have seen my other videos, you'll know that I really am interested into this lore that Fortnite has created, other than the Battle Royale game. I'm sure a lot of other people are too. And even though we expect a new season to answer like the questions we have, it usually just create some more questions. So it all started back in season 5, when they literally announced DC and Fortnite. They're doing a collab, and this is going to be an actual comic book series, not just like the Marvel comic book that you could see in your Battle Pass section. It was like that wasn't a real comic book, and it didn't really have an ending. It was just a few pages that linked to the beginning of season 4. This was a whole on comic, a series that would be 6 issues and would end on July 6th, which has already passed, so I can make this video now. So yeah, that's how it began. They officially announced they were doing a collab with DC, and DC was doing a collab with them. They were gonna make a comic book series, and Dolph Mustard was like the main guy who was making the whole comic book series in there. It would be about Batman getting trapped in the actual world of Fortnite, like not just, and it wouldn't be a collab, a big collab in game. We'll have some stuff in game, but other than that, not much. But it would be, there would be a lot of stuff going on in the story scenes. We also got a bunch of skins coming to Fortnite that directly related to the actual, comic, the comic books. But anyways, that's pretty much, that pretty much covers everything. The only other thing you need to know is that each comic, the comics released officially on starting in someday on June, I believe. No, April. Yes, like April 16. I'm not sure, but they released at some time in season 6, not too far after season 6 started. And then yeah, they started beginning on season 6, and with each comic, just almost each part, you actually got rewards. It's pretty nice. Take a Fortnite to do. You actually got rewards. Only the first one gave you a skin. The rest gave you cosmetics, but the cosmetics were still really cool. And you could get the versions of those skins later in game. Well, not later. You basically get them with the item shop. They would come later. And for redeeming all 6 codes that you got with the comics, if you bought all the comics, and oh my god, do I really need to explain why this heavy R is so bad? Not this heavy R, like heavy R's in general. Dude. Sky. Is this a bot? Actually, I think that might be a bot, but that doesn't excuse the fact that this heavy R is still really bad. I'm gonna try to surround our friend Zing and Choppy here in a box and burn him alive. I should do something. But I barely did anything. If you don't know, builds are really effective against this boss, because the mythic he holds is literally, you know, a ray gun. A ray gun, you know, the whole point of ray gun is that it does decent damage to people, but and stuff like that, but not to actual, well, builds. Come on, don't hit me, don't hit me. Oh, come on. I don't even care. The match was getting boring. I was just there to show you how well that boss worked and that he was there. So anyways, let's continue the story of Battle Zero comics. Now that we've covered everything, yes, actually, one last thing. The 6 comics, after reading the code for them, you would actually get a special skin for them, which is the Batman Zero skin, the Batman Armor Zero skin. It's a very cool skin, and every time it's gonna be super rare because you have to buy all 6 comics. Like one comic isn't too expensive; it's like $4 or $5, but then, you know, if you bought all 6 comics, that would actually, you know, get it kind of expensive. So anyways, yeah, every time it's gonna be kind of an exclusive skin. You have to buy 6 comics for it and stuff like that. But no, it actually came to the item shop. I think it might still be there, not sure, but it is, you know, it did come. So that covers all the other everything except for, you know, the stuff inside the 0 Point comic section. So we're gonna get into that, well, right now. So it started with, I'm going to try and make this as, you know, short as possible. There's a lot to cover, but I'll only cover the important parts, the parts that you actually care about. Not the whole story of maybe the comics, but, you know, the story we learned from them about Fortnite. So let's start with comic number 1. Batman gets sent to Fortnite. There was apparently like this rift in the sky. Nobody knew where it was coming from. Batman examined it. He got kicked by someone, and he didn't know who, into the rift. He went to Fortnite Island. He started exploring a bit. The first face he saw anyways was actually Menace, not Menace. I just said Menace, but I did not mean that. I actually meant the what was that skin's name? Ruckus. And they were actually, people actually found out that in the actual map of Fortnite back in season 6, he was facing Ruckus right over there, or in Weepings. So we're gonna go ahead and make our way to Coral. Also, I haven't talked about this in the video. I've seen it in a few videos, but at the very start of the season, just a few days after the season started, it was like confirmed that Coral was getting destroyed, and down the Coral was going to get destroyed, or like abducted, and it would be replaced by something. Not replaced, maybe a huge crater would be there, and a new location would come eventually. And now it's literally right above Coral. In the next update, whenever the next update is, we feel should be next week. Fortnite has been pretty constant on the updates. But whenever the next update is, this is like no doubting that coral will get destroyed, or maybe even like tomorrow, because it's already on coral. It's kind of surprising that this update didn't destroy coral, but then again, you didn't really have to download anything, so maybe that's why. Maybe we'll have another update soon, and if we do, the coral will get destroyed, you know, for sure. Like, there's not even a doubt about it. Alright, so let's get a weapon and try to take out some of these people before it's too late. Okay, we actually gotta get down. Forget that. If you don't know, UFOs have actually been changed. These abductor, not UFOs, but like abductors in general. Now, they actually set you up a lot quicker, so you have a lesser chance of dying. But that also means if you're not near them, you could die. Like, you could not get into them. So it's an interesting change. But now, you know, if you are in their beam, you will not die instantly, which is nice. Which is a nice change. You will no longer die. Because I think it's been nerfed to like 10 or 15 seconds to get you sucked up. That's the change. Should be getting sucked up any second out. There we go. So anyways, let's continue talking about the Batman Zeropoint comics. So that's where he spawned. He got face focus and quickly defeated him. He remembered his memories for a bit, but as he progressed through the map, he realized he was losing his memories. He couldn't remember everything, and he kept getting attacked by weird figures, and he kept being descended for the island. And by the time the storm closed in, his memories were fully destroyed, or fully gone, I mean. So fast forward a bit, basically, he just keeps, the comics just keep going and keep going, thanks to Batman's some smart brain. He keeps, as the loops go on, he keeps leaving himself notes that he's stuck in like some sort of loop that resets every 22 minutes. So when he does reset, he spawns at the same place, which is interesting. So you have to spawn in the same place, at least in the story of Fortnite. You wouldn't spawn at like some sort of spawn island. So he keeps leaving himself notes at like Weeping Woods, and keeps fighting Ruckus because, you know, he's always there. He also spawns there, unfortunately, and he's always beating him. So something we learned is that you actually retain feelings of inside the loop if you have, well, yeah, these weird feelings. So if you, maybe let's say you and a really big enemy of yours got inside the loop, you would retain your feelings for him. You would be like, I hate this guy. You wouldn't know who he was, but you would know that something about you really hates that person. And you would also retain muscle memory, which means stuff like well, stuff like, okay, I'm like, what's the word? I can't, my tongue's slipping a bit. Let's say that for now. But yes, the word is, the word would be okay, wow. Wait, I gotta get this door. We got the door. Wow, this game is illegal. So yes, the word would be that basically he just retains his feelings and muscle memory. So let's say you learned karate and you got stuck in the Fortnite loop somehow, you would retain your karate skills because you're mostly, it was not like something to do with your mind, it's more like a body thing. So yeah. So we discovered that while he was in Fortnite loop. So he kept leaving himself notes, and there was stuff in the loop, and clues in the loop to figure out who he was and what he was doing. Although I wasn't able to activate my jetpack, I don't think I could do it. Okay. Anyways, is this me, or has that ever since the game has come back, it's been a little harder? I think that's just me. But Evan has seemed a lot more determined to get gold loot. The good thing is you can get time or wait it out until everyone else has gotten their, you know, loot. No. Oh, come on. It's gonna get annoying. Time more. There's literally no orbs here. No time. Come on. I mean, blue is something, guys. Okay, anyways, let's continue the story. So, anyways, he found Catwoman, and as the movie said, they definitely turned clues. And throughout the process, he discovered that he does, at some point, Catwoman died. And even though he tells himself in his brain that she would just return in the next loop, he still felt really angry, which is something he discovered. He didn't retain his memories the next loop, but yeah, he like still had feelings about that time, somehow. Anyways, that's it for me. So after that happened, Batman continued to try to find tools to escape the loop, and eventually, him and Catwoman discovered that possibly, that if only one person is at the center of the loop, they could actually escape. And in the end, that is what happened. Catwoman escaped, but Batman never knew it, and we never knew if she actually escaped or not. But luckily, it was discovered later that she did successfully manage to escape, as we found out later. That was pretty good news. In the third comic, we actually see the comic through I.O. Agent's eyes, talking about how Batman is getting relatively close to escaping the loop and saying stuff like, Acid Catwoman had escaped the loop. So that was pretty, so that confirmed that Catwoman had escaped the loop, and that is how you escape the loop. By actually, well, just winning the game before the storm closes in and being the last person alive. So that was really interesting to some people. Well, actually, it was interesting to everyone. That's how you escape the loop now. So apparently, all you have to do is win the game. And for Batman, that wasn't too much of a challenge. Except, of course, there was Snake Eyes there, and he was a pretty good warrior. If you don't know who Snake Eyes is, he's like this guy from the movie. I don't know too much about him, but he's, you know, I won't talk about too much about it, okay? He's just under a collaboration skin. So, yeah, everyone was pretty stoked about him really being in Fortnite. I can understand why. No, not stoked about him being in Fortnite, but rather, like, he was actually fighting Batman. I mean, that's pretty cool. Like, 2 collaboration skins fighting each other, that's, like, kind of crazy. That's really awesome. I don't want to get too close to this guy. But I mean, I also don't want to end up dying. Dude, I can't spot this guy. I think I'm gonna win actually. May circle back here later. Because I do not have an AR. So if I did fight this guy now, it would be a death wish. Still like people here. Please tell me how they are. I mean, that guy didn't seem to be bad, but he really was that a good speaker. Woo! So far this match has been going pretty well, actually. So continuing the story onward, Batman and G.I. Joe or Snake Eyes kept on fighting, but each time you would remember their feelings, and eventually they started working together. And that's when one of the IO employees that we were seeing the story through said, maybe respect is an emotion. And then they started working together to get out of the loop. Now at the end of the comics, you don't know if G.I. Joe successfully escaped the loop and stuff like that, but he did help Batman escape the loop, and Batman did end up, you know, getting out of the loop. The fourth comic continues, and it's about Batman finally escaping the loop. And it takes a minute or two to get, well, his memories back off the loop. Eventually, he teams up with other people who have escaped the loop, such as Catwoman, and he discovers Deathstroke. Obviously, he does not know who Deathstroke actually is. If you don't know, he's basically a really, well, not his arch enemy. I mean, arch enemy would obviously be the Joker, but the Slade Wilson, you know, Deathstroke's definitely really high up there. So but immediately you could tell that Batman has some weird, knows that whoever Deathstroke is cannot be trusted. But he does decide to work together with him. Deathstroke persuades everyone that we have to all work together if we're gonna escape the loop. They meet up with other people who have actually escaped the loop, such as skins like Bonehead, Magnus, Renegade Raider, and they have like short versions of their own names as assigned to them. So it's pretty interesting. You can spot a lot of skins there, and yeah, it was pretty cool. Eventually, they all worked together, and Batman started learning information from the crew. He started like asking around for people like Renegade Raider and stuff like that. And it turns out Renegade Raider, yes, also I was kind of shocked too. It's just cool. You know, the Renegade Raider was the first one to escape the loop and was even there in the first place. She basically said that they had escaped the loop. She said that she was the first one to escape the loop, and there had also been others who had escaped the loop other than them. But through experiments in, well, trying to escape the island, because, just in case you don't understand, they are out of the loop, but are still in the island. So their memories won't be reset or anything like that, but they are still actually in the island. So it's all over yet. But he can explore the island freely now. So he's one step closer to everything being solved. So Renegade Raider, or as she's called in the story, just Raider, tells him that she's been in the island the longest, and a lot of experiments such as going out into the ocean. Now there's no storm. I believe there's a storm. Yeah, there's no storm. It has been like unsuccessful, as eventually they reach a barrier and just end up dying. So you can't go too far. And she explains to Batman that's basically, essentially, she's discovered that the island is the only world. This she says it's some sort of other reality, and there is the whole world. The island is the whole world. So there's nothing beyond that. All those islands in Fortnite you see, like outside the island we spawn on, are just like pictures, which makes a lot of sense actually. You know, considering the story. So yes, continuing on, they try to investigate how to get out of the loop, and then they're all like, actually this doesn't happen in the story, but I'm pretty sure, you know, they're all thinking it's kind of obvious that they would be like, this guy thinks he can get out of the loop, especially one skin. I can't remember the skin, but it's like this. Actually, I really cannot remember. I don't know her name, but let's just say she's really egotistical. Okay, I'm pretty sure that would be the word. She has a big ego. She just thinks this guy. She says Batman should not be in charge, and right now, you know, they're calling him the Bat. Okay, to be clear, they call him the Bat, and they're like, she's like, he shouldn't be in charge. But he then kind of proves to them that he's obviously got kind of smart there. And yeah, there was also fisting in there too, and he's really essential to the story later on, so I'm telling you guys that now. So yes, Batman eventually becomes leader, and they all start trying to figure out what's going on, where they have, and how to escape the loop. Eventually, they find out a way to get into the bunkers. Yes, into the bunkers that we've been trying to in Fortnite to get inside for so long. And even though they have been successful attempts, such as glitches, like different types of glitches, it's always there's nothing in it. Obviously, Fortnite doesn't actually expect us to get in there. So they wouldn't leave anything in there. You know, that's just dumb. So yeah, they get in the loop and try to discover what's in the loop. It's some sort of entrance to the 0 point in the loop. Okay, in some sort of entrance to an IO base in the loop. They go through there. You know, it's really old. It's immediately stone guardians. And I'm gonna try to speed things up a little because this video's already been really long. Essentially, you know, passing, let's just keep it continuing. The important stuff is that they finally get to 0 point chamber throughout the comics. They meet IO guards too, and they realize that they discover something after a while in the loop, that there are snapshots. So we already knew this, but now we can discover it through Batman's eyes. And there, whenever someone escapes the loop, a version of themselves is left behind. And a theory is made, and it was still not confirmed, but it hasn't been deconfirmed either. And sometimes IO might actually take people out of the loop. Now this is pretty unlikely to me, at least. But they said that IO might be plucking people out of the loop to join their cause. You know, because they will be accustomed to the fighting. Maybe they've been mind controlled or something. This theory is like even brought to life by the fact that Batman said he recognizes one of the IO guards after unmasking them to be a person from the loop. So yeah, that was pretty interesting to me. I still think it's pretty unlikely, but it is actually, you know, just generally pretty interesting. The story continues as they make their way to the 0 point chamber room, and this supports a theory I've had for a long time, and I won't be diving too much into it. I've talked about it in another video, but basically, I'm just going to say quickly here. The 0 point is at different places in different realities. It's like it is at a certain place in a reality, and it is at a different place in a different reality. That's kind of right here. So at the moment, let's say in the IO's reality, the 0 point is literally right there. Okay, in the chamber where it should be, but in the Fortnite, it's actually with the aliens. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm pointing out here. And so if they were to use 0 point to travel somewhere, such as where the 0 point is located in Batman's reality, without the proper tools, if they don't have proper tools, they will be transported wherever the 0 point is in that reality. So I think my theory is pretty solid here. I think I make a good point, but it's up to you guys. We'll never really know. But I think I make a pretty good point here because at the moment, if you guys don't know, the 0 point is, well, no one has said it, but it's quite obvious. It was not destroyed actually, unlike people say, but it is. But I believe, and it is the most obvious answer, the 0 point is actually real with them. And by with them, I mean the 0 point is with the aliens, the Chimera. And I did not expect to get this far into a match. I did not think I'm gonna win, but I wouldn't really care. This video was just all about the story. I'm pretty sure there's a guy there, so we gotta be really careful here. Hopefully this guy does not have firefly doors. I may build to not get burned down. I'll try building the metal later. Where's this guy? Where's he shooting from? Oh, already? He's whoa. Was my support that weak? I can't believe I made out of that situation alive. Woo! Oh my god, I thought I was good either. Sorry if I did not talk too much. I've said this in other videos too, I'm just not that good talking while in fight. Especially in a time like this, you know? Okay, this is too risky. I'll try to make it more secure here. I'm using a lot of mats to get these builds secure, but it's gonna be worth it. Hopefully. Okay, I wonder what I guys do. I'm not sure though. Yo, what was that? I mean, I know that I've been aware that's a pump, but yeah, that was crazy for a second there. Good thing is, I do believe I have way more heals than this guy. Although, not in terms of health heals. In that case, I'm really low. Because I did not have a single one. Single bit. Oh, come on. That's not legit, man. Anyways, I'm gonna try to finish off the Batman 0 point comic story here. With, yeah, the final part. Anyways, to make it to the 0 point chamber in an attempt to, well, you know, get out of the loop, they try to use the devices there. They basically just, try to mess around with the devices, try to see what's going on. Eventually, they find a way, but before that, they're all, for some reason, every single one of them has been in this loop. They feel some strange connection to the 0 point, you know, including Batman and everything else. And Voyager, Eternal Voyager, a season 10 Battle Pass skin, for some reason he has a really strong approach. He says he wants to be, well, voyaging throughout realities. He feels that he can transform through realities, and it jumps into the 0 point thing, but he does not make it out alive. Apparently, according to Batman, he got pieces of himself like sent throughout different realities. It was pretty interesting, but yeah, he died. Also, Fish died before. I don't think I mentioned that. So yeah, he died to a traitor, unfortunately. There was some sort of traitor amongst them, which will be explained later. And yeah, that traitor actually killed him. So later on, right after that, they find out, they make a device, and they actually manage to get everyone back to their realities, except for and in the end, there's only Batman, Catwoman, and Deathstroke left. That before, just a few minutes before in the story, Batman actually revealed that he found out that Deathstroke, he might not be a traitor, is the traitor that he found out, and that he could well, get them home, because basically he found out that Deathstroke is from their reality, and the problem is one person has to be there to operate the device. But now, if there were 3 of them, they could, I don't know how, but thanks to some logic, they could all get back home. Something to do with all their energies being from the same reality. But Deathstroke actually betrays them, telling them that he has a device, and this device is more like it's like a compass. And then he goes back to his reality. But Catwoman actually manages to get the device, which continues the 6th comic. I mean, we're just gonna go really quick here. But anyways, we're just gonna try to make this as quick as possible. But it goes, Deathstroke escapes. They eventually find out that they can use Harley Quinn from the loop to get out of there. They find out that they can use Deathstroke's device even though it's damaged. It's damaged, but only to go back to the loop. They realize they can keep their memories, and they go and find Harley Quinn. And the only reason they're even going for her is because they saw her before in the 1st comic, or no, actually it was the 2nd, and they felt a strange connection towards her, which is true because she's from their reality. So anyways, they bring her back, they capture her, and it turns out she can actually talk. Now, nobody knows how. It's probably something to do with her crazy brain, but she can actually talk while they're trying to capture her. Maybe she has one of those devices too. It turns out, we're not sure, but basically in the 1st comic, Batman, or not Batman, but a lot of the villains that were in the 1st comic, they actually somehow a bunch of villains, including well Deathstroke and some other people, had made a deal with each other to get what they all wanted. Harley Quinn was somehow involved in this deal. She could do something, and she could for them, and in return she would be in the loop. And for some reason, thanks to her crazy mind, she wanted to stay in the loop. She didn't want any power or anything. She would stay in the loop because apparently, according to her, in the 6th comic, she just loved the constant fighting and dying, which makes sense, considering who she is. So anyways, but they don't give her a choice to capture her and get to 0 point. And a bit of time later, and I'm not gonna try to give you all the details, Harley Quinn escapes, but the portal's already open. They go back to their reality. Harley Quinn, not Harley Quinn, Catwoman is a bit resistant. She's like, I really think we should go. Something bad might happen there. Maybe remember something we don't want. Because that's possible. At the moment, they don't have the realities, their memories. They go back there and they start remembering some weird stuff. They start remembering everything. They remember something bad too. And then Harley Quinn leaves. No, not Harley. I keep saying Harley Quinn, but I mean Catwoman. Okay, Selena. She leaves and she tells Batman that I told you we should have stayed. And then she escapes. The rest of the comic is just Batman talking to Commissioner Gordon about how something bad is going on, but the portal is closed that was there in Gotham. They could risk it. And also, it was discovered that a bunch of these certain villains, which involved Harley Quinn, Deathstroke, Lex Luthor, and the worst of them all, this is actually kind of crazy. At the moment, I didn't know much about him. At the moment, back at that moment, I guess you could say, I didn't know much about this character, but I did do a bit of research and found out more about him. Right at that moment, I barely knew anything about him, but I didn't know who he was, kind of. This guy was the Batman who laughs. And a lot of you probably don't even know who that is, but he's basically, think of him as I'm not gonna try to spend too much time explaining it, but he's a really evil Joker combination of Batman who is godlike, okay? These are the most dangerous villains ever, from a different reality. The story ends with them all laughing and saying this is not the end. Well, actually, they didn't say that. The comic more said that, and a rift opened in Metropolis because that's what they're all talking. And that is the end of all 6 0-point comic issues. I'm pretty sure that is the episode. It's said to be continued, but obviously there is no other comics left. I'm sure they would find a way to continue the stories, but I don't think it'll be in the Batman 0-point series. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This covers everything we've worked for. Well, not we've ever worked for. Basically, this covers everything, you know, in the Batman 0.6 comics. These are all the Batman 0-point comics. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This is XP Gaming out.